There we go. Can you guys hear me okay? Lowering that just a little bit. All right, awesome. I had the microphone turned off. I didn't realize it. Okay, and the last one. Those. All right, so before we get started, some of you asked for the resources for the previous stream that we're finishing up today. I did post that earlier in the chat, and we will continue from there. I will do a brief recap when we actually get started after we do the little intro. All right, so let's actually get started. Hello, everyone. If you don't know me, I am Megan. I work for Marvelous Designer as a 3D designer and the community manager in the Discord. And in the chat, we also have Eric helping me. Eric also works for Marvelous Designer as the U.S. Business Development Manager, and he will be helping answer questions and moderating the chat in case I miss anything. And if we, end up having a bunch of conversations that I end up just kind of missing out, or questions that I can't answer and he can. So let's start off with our copy-paste links for those of you who are new to Marvelous Designer and don't know. We do have a Discord channel, which I will be posting in the chat. At the Discord channel, I am the moderator for the Discord channel, so is Eric. There we have a lot of our users that have been using Marvelous Designer for almost as long as it's been available to the public. And there you can show off your work, you can talk with other users, ask questions to each other from everyone around the world, and help each other out, as well as we can help answer questions there for you and help troubleshoot if you're working on something and you can't figure it out, or if you have pattern questions, feel free to chat there. And as always, we have our website, marvelousdesigner.com. We do have our forum as well, and our basic website where you can buy Marvelous Designer, and you can also go to the community tab, and we have our forum there, which is very similar to our Discord, with different and the same users. And for those of you who are on Twitch, I am sharing our YouTube channel in the chat. Our YouTube channel, we do keep all of our streams in perpetuity there, whereas on Twitch, we just let them expire after the 14 days. So you can reference all of the streams there if you ever miss them, as well as we do also have YouTube tutorials available on our channel that we made specifically for Marvelous Designer users for best practices, which I will also share our first tutorial playlist. For those of you who are, again, brand new to Marvelous Designer, you can use our playlists and our tutorials to brush up and learn how to use Marvelous Designer as follow-along tutorials. Because these streams generally aren't going to be follow-along tutorials, at least for now, unless everyone actually wants me to start doing like follow-along courses and classes. And if that is something that you guys would like, feel free to send us an email or let us know via whichever social media source that you prefer to comment on. But you can send us an email to our community at Marvelous Designer email. So there we're accepting stream requests and ideas for streams. We previously held like Q&A streams where you guys would submit your questions and we would help answer them live on stream, or if you actually had like an actual project you were working on and you were fine with us sharing it as we helped troubleshoot. We were doing that previously. But there you can submit your ideas for streams and other ideas that you'd like to see. Like if we did another Q&A stream, you can submit your requests there. And lastly, on the copy paste list, if you are having technical difficulties or if you have other questions that just kind of like if you want to know how to buy it or if you needed academic like information, you can contact our support email here on the website, or you can contact us at support or you can contact us here at support@marvelousdesigner.com. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you what we did in the previous stream. So last stream, actually I'll just show you, we were making a Rococo gown or basically a mantua dress. So this is from the Rococo period, Baroque Rococo period in the 1700s, 1770s. So in the previous stream, let me do these. This is just an example. This wasn't the specific one. But as you can see, we have made the skirt and we're currently working on the sleeves and the mantua itself. Next, we may or may not do these ruffles, but I can at the very least show you a simpler ruffle design. And I may end up making the, what is it called? No, it's not the stay. It is a stomacher as well, separately. But this stomacher is covered, as you can see. So pulling this over, this is where we were. We actually used resources from archive.org, which is a, let me grab. This isn't the exact one because I have it prepared for in case we're doing another garment. But archive.org has a bunch of tailoring like books and pattern books and instructionals for tailors back in the this one I'm sharing is from 1888. It was published at that date. So the next one, if we do finish this, will be in actual Victorian garments, and it'll be a men's garment. So that's just a little cheater that you guys get to see. I did share the links in the previous stream, so you can always go back and as you're watching them, keep an eye on the chat because they are posted there. Let's see. So yes, so what we did was we took in some of the patterns, at least for the mantua, which is this bodice piece. Let me select that. And we brought that pattern in and we basically traced it. And as you can see, sometimes it has a little bit of folding issues, as you can see here. But that's just how it goes with Marvelous Designer and working with a lot of pleats. I need to fiddle around with it, but we'll see how far we can go because I'd like to complete this dress pretty quickly. So feel free to type in questions and I can verbally answer them. What I'm going to be doing next is, now that I have completed, basically got the shirt or the jacket in place, then we will probably work on, we'll finish up the skirt, which is pretty easy. And then I'm going to finish up the design for the stomacher and for this jacket and add the sleeves. And we'll see how long that takes us. If I take too long during this, we'll probably move the menswear. We will probably end up moving the menswear to a different stream in the future. For those, Dr. Pixel, sorry for asking, why do you guys have any perpetual licenses for freelancer? At this time, we do not currently have perpetual licenses anymore, as we have swapped over back in November to the subscription model. And moving on, the reason this is clear and it looks like this is all of these pattern pieces are deactivated because I was answering questions on a previous stream. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the rest of this skirt. As you can see, it's pulling and it doesn't actually fit the shape of the simulated pannier. I wasn't actually going to make an entirely simulated pannier just for the sake of speed during the live stream, as these are only 2 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and start making adjustments to this pattern. As you can see, it's too tight on the bottom and there's too much gap on the top. And again, I'm going to show you the reference just really quick. I also have a fashion history textbook open in front of me, which you guys can't really see, but I'm just referencing some of the art plates. Rude. Open. There we go. So it's going to be something like this. This is the silhouette. It makes it really easy because this is actually right here, I think, and here, I believe. Or maybe it's here. These pieces are actually just pieced together exactly as I'm about to be doing during the stream because they didn't have this wide of material, so it's fun. Okay, I'm gonna reset this back. And that's why you can see here this is pieced. In Marvelous Designer, we can just completely merge them and we don't have to follow the actual limitations of reality if we don't want to. So let's see how fast we can go during this stream. So what I'm going to do first is simulate. You can see here I have a lot of pieces. I'm going to go ahead and actually freeze the shirt again and the jacket. So I just hit Control K, which is the shortcut for freeze. I can also right click and choose unfreeze in this case, or Control K, it'll show you here in the 3D window. So here I'm going to adjust the drape of this piece. So I can see that it is causing some drag here. These drag lines, this is a great tip. While you are working in Marvelous Designer or in fabric in general, when you get lines like this, they are pointing at the point of stress. If I go to the strain map, you can actually see here that this doesn't have a lot of stress on it, but right here is where it is tighter. It's green here where the rest of this is blue. As well as in real life and in Marvelous Designer, these drag lines are pointing directly at that point of stress or the problem. So what I need to do to fix this is just add to the side. I'm just going to go right ahead, flip these over just to make sure. And then I'm just going to pull it out on my 2D window. Whereas in real life, you can't do that. Alrighty. Yes, this is mad at me. I'm just going to go ahead and flip the normal. Oh wait, no, I didn't want to do that. Fine, I'll do it the hard way. Don't flip your thing horizontally. Okay. So I'm just going to pull this out so I have a little bit, that's a little too much ease. Checking the measurement on this line here, it's 822.3. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that same thing. I'm eyeballing it. I can also make it perfect by doing it in another way, but this will be a little bit easier. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to let it go here at 822.6. Being 0.3 millimeters off is fine. And I'm just going to go ahead and simulate that. And you'll see these drag lines start to release. And now the weight isn't as centered on the waist. It's also being held up by the peigne, which is what we want. There we go. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and... No, I do want to keep them frozen. Okay. Next, I want to adjust the curve of this. So what I'm going to do... Honestly, I might just delete this back piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and make adjustments here. Which way do I want to do this? Oh, just so you all know, during the previous stream, I did unnest my tools. So normally these tools are nested. I'm going to show you what they look like. Where is it? User interface, group tools. Normally, when you open Marvelous Designer 10, it will normally look like this. During the previous stream, I unnested these tools. So you would just long press and then select your tool that you want to use. And if you wanted what I had previously done, you can go to Settings, User Settings, User Interface, and go to Group Tools under the toolbar and toggle on or off, and it'll unnest those tools. So this is what I had done previously. That's why it looked a little bit different than just the base Marvelous Designer when you first open it. So what I'm doing is I'm using the Add Curve Point tool or Edit Curve Point tool, and I'm just going to edit these curve points to follow along this panier style here, or the panier silhouette. This is a corner, as you can see here. If I want to change my corner, I can use the Smooth Curve tool and smooth out that corner. In this case, it's kind of it's making it look a little wobbly, so I'm gonna remove this curve point, this segment point here, and turn it into a curve point. This does create a bunch of curve points if you have something along a curved line, but that's okay. I'm just dragging and clicking to delete. I'm also going to convert this one to a curve point and then just adjust that. Do make sure that when your pattern pieces meet up on whatever flat corner that you always have a 45 degree, or not 45 degree, a 90 degree angle so that they square off when they are sewn together. So as you can see here in my 3D window, you can see all of this that I've carved out and reshaped, whereas the original shape is this back piece. Now this back piece was giving me a little bit of a problem earlier, so to make my life honestly easier, I'm just going to delete it, copy, and then mirror paste. And I'm just going to be making the front piece now that now that I'm done here. Actually, I don't want mirror paste. I want symmetric pattern with sewing, so this is symmetrically linked. And now it's going to be sewn to the front, which then allows me to select the entire front piece, or in this case just these two, and make a copy, Control C, Control V, just for the back. Where are we? 2 to retarget, okay. And the only reason it moved that far away is because I had placed them in the 2D space in that way. So right now I'm just going to be flipping them around. And then I'm going to sew them to each other. So using the segment sewing tool, I can just sew them in the 3D window to make sure that I'm sewing the correct pieces together. I could do this in the 2D window if I wanted, but I also don't have to if I'm confused. Like, let's just say I've forgotten that I flipped them and I sew like this one to this one. You can see here that my sewing lines are crossed in the 3D window, but it doesn't look like that to me in my 2D window. I can always check my work before I simulate in 3D. I can see that I have made that mistake. I can hit Control Z or just delete it, and then I can sew it together. Here is another way to mistakenly sew it incorrectly. As you can see, the sewing lines are crossed, even though they're going to the same correct pattern piece. I can easily make an adjustment to this by using the Edit Sewing tool or the B hotkey. Select that sewing line that's crossed, right-click it and choose Reverse Sewing. And I can see here that I have fixed that sewing problem. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate. I'll take a little bit because this is a lot of fabric. I mean, this is the Baroque and Rococo period where they just used all the fabric to show how rich they were. And we'll let that simulate. And fall down. Now, if this was the real world, you would have these seams. I can also just get rid of them if I want, and I probably will after this. But it's probably one of the last things I'll do, just because I'll apply it for the texture, but for patterning, it's a little bit easier to work this way. And I do have these wrinkles. That is okay. Most of these dresses during this day had these wrinkles. I can make adjustments to it if I want. I can also use a tool that I actually haven't used in a little bit. I can use the steam tool to cheat this. So I'm going to show you guys the steam tool really quick. So I could either adjust my pattern by measurements and just adjust the curve, or I can use the steam brush, which can apply shrinkage to specific parts of my pattern. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of shrinkage